So we're holding, I believe, on page 14. So Chassidus explains that there's three. I mean, it's meta levels, but basically there's three levels. But we're explaining this mimer. You have Eir HaMamale, the light that fills the world. Eir HaSoivev, the light that encompasses the world. And then you have the inyan of Ein Sof, which is something that's above both these two levels. So even the light that encompasses the world, Eir HaSoivev Kol Almin, still has a shaykhis, has a connection to the world, and still was created for the aspect of the world. But you have the Eir Ein Sof. Ein Sof is a light that's above the concept of Eir HaMamale, the light that encompasses the world, and the light that comes within the world itself. You have this expression in Tanya, the Alter Rebbe says that a person has to meditate every day the way the Eibishter fills the world, the way the Eibishter is above the world, and Kula Klamei Klochshiv, in the way everything side God, the way God fills the world, and side the way God is above the world is Kula Klamei Klochshiv. At the same time, it's irrelevant both levels to him. The way God is Atzmus, the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, the way God is unlimited, in that level, there's no mile, there's no matter, there's no above and no below. So that's what you have over here. Matan Torah, going back to the Maimeh, Matan Torah accomplished that Al Yoinim, the above, came down to the Tachtin, and that means that the inyan of Seif of Kalamim came down to the world, and you have the concept of Tachtonim Yalal Al Yoinim, that the below can come up to the above, which is the concept of Malakalam. And what's brought about these two concepts is Havaya, Shem Havaya, Vani Havaya, Eir Havaya. The concept of Yudke Vavke, which is the concept of above time and space, gives the capability for this interaction to happen. That the above should come down to below and the below should come down to below is a greater force that creates this aspect. As you say, the Ramban says, Nachmanides says, the whole Torah is talked, Vayem Hashem El Moshe. And God spoke to Moshe. So there's somebody, it's above. It's spoken in a narrative. Right? There's a narrator. It's spoken in that kind of way. And God, somebody's saying it, and God spoke to Moshe. Who is speaking? Who is saying the statement? And God spoke to Moshe. So that's the narrator. Who's the narrator? So you have the concept of the Eibishter, the way the Eibishter is in the Torah. You have Moshe Rabbeinu, the Mata, and then you have the narrator. The narrator, it's above. He's above. The narrator is above these two entities. He's speaking about these two entities. The narrator. Everything's written in the third person. Somebody's talking. Somebody's telling a story. Not Moshe Rabbeinu is telling the story. Not the name of God is telling the story. Somebody else is telling the story. The Eibishter, Atzmus Mahos, is telling the story. So that's the essence. The Ein Sof is telling a story. He's talking a story. He's telling a story about himself. Right? It's about the way he comes into these names, and that's the way the Torah is written. Throughout the entire Torah is written in that kind of a way. There's somebody's telling a story. So Moshe Rabbeinu wrote the Torah in the expression of the Eibishter.
Because it had to be either one of them.
Right.
Because there are times, that there was just the two of them.
Yeah, but if Moshe Rabbeinu is writing the Torah, he wrote Vayem Elai, and God said to me. It doesn't say that. He says God said to Moshe. He's writing, and God said to Moshe, Vayem Hashem El Moshe. That's not the you write something. If Moshe is writing the Torah about his conversation with HaKadosh Baruch Hu, it doesn't make sense. How do you write the Torah in that kind of a way? How would Moshe Rabbeinu write the Torah in that kind of way? It doesn't make sense to write the Torah that way. So Moshe Rabbeinu is writing the Torah through a narrator. He's writing the Torah in somebody's telling him what Vayem Hashem Moshe. Somebody is telling him, and God said to Moshe. A third entity is telling him, and God said to Moshe.
Why?
The narrator.
Because that's Asmus. That's the concept. You have that. There's a Lamaila. There's an Indian. There's a concept that's above all Shemus Havaya. Yud Kei Vav Kei is the highest level of God's name. It shows in the Hayah the concept of past, present, future as one infinity. But there's a concept of Atzmas, the concept of unlimited, the Eibush that's above Shemus. That's the one who's saying it. That's this week's Parsha. Ve'ata Tetzaveh. There's Ata. Moshe Rabbeinu has a name, and then there's Ata. Ve'ata Tetzaveh. So Ata, it's an interesting expression. Ve'ata, you're going to command. Eibush commands. Ve'ata, you. Who is you? Who is you? Doesn't say who you is.
The supreme power.
No, Moshe Rabbeinu, the essence of Moshe Rabbeinu. The essence of Moshe Rabbeinu, which is the essence of HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Because the Moshe Rabbeinu, the Shama of Moshe Rabbeinu is the Chelek L'Kam Ma'amah, V'ata Tetzaveh. So that's why Tzaddik goes HaKadosh Baruch Hu Mekayim. Tzaddik has that power because the Tzaddik is an expression of his Etzem and Neshama, which is Etzem and Neshama is Atzmus. Atzmus it comes out from the essence of God, which is almost the exact same thing.
Maybe also that it, by writing it this way, it's actually notifying itself in the sense of not saying me kind of a thing.
Because Hashem lie and say his name. Cannot say his name. Does Yahweh? He's saying his name. Moshe. Why do we say his name? Don't mention his name. No, because the entity that's talking is talking to Moshe. I am Hashem Moshe. So how is he going to write it?
So how come this time he does Tetzaveh, he doesn't say the name? Usually say Vayomer Hashem.
Okay, so you have the Gemara. The Gemara says he said take my name out. So he took his name out of the Eibush, took his name out of this parsha. But actually the Rebbe says this is greater. When you say the Ata Tetzaveh is higher than Moshe, is you. Who are you? When you say my name is Zalman, who are you? Zalman. I am higher than that. What's my name? My name is only for somebody else. I don't need a name for myself. I need a name so you know who I am. Right? If you're going to call me you, you're going to call everybody you. It's not going to work. So we have names. Identification. The Eibush is above identification. Can't identify it. It's unidentifiable. So you have Shiva Shemus, you have 7 names of God. We identify God in 7 names. Shiva names, Shem Nechakim. You're not allowed to erase these names, the 7 names of God. But then there's the Ata. You. Ata.
Which covers all of them.
Which covers all of them. Which is above all of them, which in essence creates all of them. The Ata, the you, creates all these 7 names. The real you expresses itself in 7 names.
So God has many levels.
Sure. No, Chas v'Shalom, God has no levels.
No?
No, the Shuyis HaKadosh Baruch Hu. That's why the Eibush is out to you. There's no levels. Then you have the way God to us has levels, but Eibush has no level. The Eibush to God is Yachad and Miyuchad. There's no levels. Ain't the Shuyis HaKadosh Baruch Hu. There's no time and space to God. Can't put him in a box. But we express to the Eibush in these names. It's an expression. It's not that the Chas v'Shalom, that God has levels. We have levels. Not God has no levels. So that's what you say. I say again, you say in your bracha, Baruch Atah Hashem Elokeinu Melech Haolam. Right? Baruch Atah is you. Then you come to Yud Kei Vav Kei. And then you come to Elokeinu. And that's how you come to Melech. To the concept of ultimately God comes a Melech. Because that's Seder Shtalshlus. But it starts the concept of the way godness comes down and descends into the world. But Ata, you, it all starts with Ata. Ata Tetzaveh, and you. So that's the concept of Chibur of Maila Mata. There is Maila Mata in this world. There is above and below. But then there's the chibur of Ma'ila Mata. How do we mechaber Ma'ila Mata? If there's a concept of Ma'ila Mata, there's a concept above and below in this world, and that's why God created the world, that there'll be above and below. How do you unite the above and below? How can the below unite with the above if there's the Eibishter God, so to say, put it into the system that there's above and below? It means if I'm below, I'll always stay below. And if somebody's above me, he'll always be above me. How is there the chibur? How is there the unity? Only God can create that unity. So God creates the unity of the above and the below. So that's what the Medrash says, that God in essence broke there was until Matan Torah, there was above and below. And that's why Avraham Avinu reached a certain level, and Yaakov Yitzchak Avinu, certainly Yaakov Avinu, Bechir Shavav is literally even a greater level. But then God broke it, there's no levels. Every Yid can be above, and as the Rambam says, every Yid can be Moshe Rabbeinu, and every Yid can be Yeram ben Avat. There's no above and below. The Eibishter breaks the decree. Everybody can be whatever he wants to be. Everybody can reach up to any level he wants to reach. L'mayla and chas v'shalom l'mata. Above, and he can reach below. And you can have it actually in one day. You can reach above, and you can come to the depths below. That's your choice. You can become a tzaddik in a minute, and become a rasha in the next minute, and come back a tzaddik in the third minute. Reach above and below. There's no limitations.
That's the best thing that HaKadosh Baruch Hu did for the human being, is give him the bechira, the choice of to do good and bad. If he took that away,
yeah, but that he gave the choice of good and doing bad is gave it before.
He can leave if you take the bechira.
No. Over here is not the choice of doing good and bad. This is not the choice to do. This is the concept of reaching up spiritually to a higher level. The choice of doing bad was given time of Adam Rishon, with the choice of doing good and bad. Adam was given the choice of doing good and bad. Over here, the concept this has happened 2,000 years later. The concept of becoming holier in a physical way and mundane in a physical way, that is Matan Torah. That we didn't have to have a Matan Torah for the concept of coming good and bad. That was the first day of creation. When God created Adam and Eve, he gave them a choice to do good or to do bad. We're not talking about good and bad over here. Over here we're talking about going higher spiritually and going lower spiritually.
Because you have the choice. You can do higher spiritually.
Right, not bad. So it's not good and bad, chas v'shalom. Nobody does bad if he doesn't become spiritually higher. That's not a bad thing. Becoming spiritually higher is changing the world. You're not becoming a bad person if you don't change the world. But that's the avoid of a Yid. That's why Goyim are not doing bad. They have Sheva Mitzvah in Noach, and they're wonderful people, and they get Gan Eden. A Yid, avodah is to elevate the world. It's not avodah to be good or bad only. A Jew's avodah is to elevate the world. Being good and bad is not our avodah. We should never do anything bad. But not doing anything bad is not doing the avodah of a Yid. The avodah of a Yid is to Kedusha, is to bring holiness in the world. And you cannot do anything bad in life, and you still didn't bring holiness in the world. Dida B'Tachteinim is not doing good and bad. The concept of Matan Torah is to bring God to the world. Has nothing to do with doing good and bad. The Goyim also shouldn't do bad, and they still not allowed to do the Torah. That's the sort of different avodah. Avodah over here, the bechira of a Yid, is to bring godliness into the world. It's a whole different avodah. And therefore, the truth is, if you're bad, you can never do this avodah. Even if you're good, now you have another avodah. Right? Even if you're a good person, you're a wonderful person, and you never hurt anybody in your life, you're a good individual, you're a charitable individual, you still have not done this avodah. Avodah of a Yid is Kedusha, is the aspect of holiness. To be able to bring Kedusha in the world. It's a whole different avodah, it's a whole different purpose. Spiritual purpose. Havai is bring Havai. So a Yid needs to be good, for sure. Because you cannot be bad, have a clear, have a vessel of evil, and be able to bring spirituality in the world. That's surely not going to work. So that's a avada. You cannot be a bad person and have midas rois and to bring godliness to the world. It's not going to work. But you can have midas tevis and still not do this avada. Right? Still didn't do your avada. So this is a whole different avada.
So what's going to happen to this chibur at the time of the Mashiach?
No, the time Mashiach will see will see this chibur. We will be able to see it. Right now, we cannot see the chibur. We can see the chibur of goodness. That you true good, live in the world. That the able to create the goyim, the world, the Jew world in general. It should be a good world. You shouldn't kill. You shouldn't steal. You should help each other. You should be charitable. These are all human nature things that the Eibishter wanted for the world. That it should be a good world. But that's not what the avodah of a yid is. Avodah of a yid is to mechabek kedusha, to make the world a dinah b'tachtenim, to be able to bring God into the world, and you don't see that. That's what you're going to see when Mashiach comes. You'll be able to see this chibur. You'll be able to see the Bukiet. Right? That's a true. L'sakein olam b'malchus shin dal yud. The pasuk says to rectify the world, to bring it the name of God in it. So that's the avodah of a yid. To make the world a better world. That's not the avodah of a yid per se. That's the avodah of the world. Shav mitzvah nenayach. The world has to make this world a better world. If you're going to gamv, it's not going to be a good world. Avodah of a yid is to bring godliness in the world. That's the avodah of a yid. That's what the Eibishter gave me a nefesh elokis, a godly soul, to bring godliness in the world. That's my service. So the Rebbe says, so how can he do that? That's why the avodah of a yid. That's why Matan Torah was for Am Yisrael. Understand? That's why Matan Torah. Because really, Matan Torah should have been for the world, and it's ultimately for the world. But it's really for Am Yisrael. The Eibishter didn't give Matan Torah for the world. Matan Torah is for Am Yisrael, because this concept of the breakage of this decree of El Yelim, that the above don't count down to below, and below don't count down, is for the Am Yisrael to break that.
It's also for the world.
I understand.
It goes through the Jews.
I understand. Ultimately, it's for the world, but it's the avodah of a yid. If the yid does not do this avodah, the world is not gonna be able to do it. Because the world is the world that actually the world needs to be a good world, so a yid can do his avodah, and that's it. If the world's a corrupt world, it's hard for a Jew to do the avodah. It's harder for a yid.
Could become a conduit basically to do it for the rest of the world.
Right? Correct.
For the world to benefit.
Correct.
If we don't,
and therefore the world needs to be a good world. Therefore, have a spala b'shleima shel malchus. That's why the Mishnah says you should pray that the government should be a stable government, and it should be a good government, and they should do the right thing. And that's it. Because you should live in a country that is a justice, a country of justice, and that has laws and rules and regulations. So a yid can do his avodah. If you live in a Meshuggah country like Jews have lived, then how can a Jew do his avodah? Can't do his avodah.
we go back to Rosh Hashanah. Rosh Hashanah, the first day we celebrate for all the nations.
No question about it.
The second day we celebrate for the Jews.
No question. But in essence, our avodah is different. That's what my point is. My point is not that our avodah is to make our bechira is that we should do good. That's not our bechira. We should be godly. That's our bechira. That should be our bechira, really. Our bechira is we should be godly. We should be good. That's everybody's bechira. We're playing around with that's the problem. That's why you think that why did the Chachamim make boundaries? That we shouldn't get involved in Issa v'heter. That shouldn't be our avodah. We're struggling. We're doing good and bad. That's crazy. That shouldn't be a struggle. That should be easy. And therefore they made boundaries. That should be easy. Don't get involved in the struggles of basic struggles. Then if you get involved in basic struggles, then how you do your avodah? How are you going to do your real avodah if you're really struggling with the basics? You got to get the basics down. That's done. Now we got to go to the next level. But if we're struggling with our emotions and good and bad, so how are you supposed to make a godly world if you're struggling with your nefesh habahamis and you're busy fighting with your animalistic soul? You're never going to forget it. You're like everybody, Tom, Dick, and Joe, who are fighting with the nefesh habahamis too. You got to get past that. You got to overcome it. You got to establish that. Finished. Now you can do your Avodah V'Yid and get to work. Bring light to the world. But if he's busy fighting with darkness, how are you going to bring light to the world? You're busy fighting with darkness. That's what Rebbe would always say. Anan Paldi Amam Anan. We're the workers of light. What are we getting fighting in darkness? What are we getting involved in politics and all the Nadishkeit? What are we getting involved in this? Forget about it. Let the world take care of that. You get involved with light. Anan Pala, we're the workers of the day. Get involved in light. You start arguing with darkness. The Gemara says, if you fight with a guy who's dirty, you're gonna get dirty. That's life. You're gonna roll it with a guy that's dirty. You're gonna get dirty. So why you fight with a guy that's dirty? Forget about him. Weiter. So you learn when you're learning road rage. Fido, drive on. Forget it. Drive on. You're gonna get him fight with a guy who's in road rage. You might get in trouble. Forget it. Drive on. Don't get involved. Don't get involved. Don't try to rectify everybody. You're gonna get in trouble. Don't try to get in a fight with every bad guy. It's not your job. Go on. It's an important thing. That's Lamaila. That's where a Yid. The Eibishter wanted to pick a Yid up Lamaila. Right? You wanted to show, you can go through the forest, and you go through the forest above the forest. Right? Now they have, what do they call that? Drones. Go through above it. You got to look inside. You get out. It's very hard to get through the forest, in the forest. Go above it. I'm giving you the capability to go above it. That's not going to change the forest. But you're going to fly above it. You have to fly above it. Geila Maila. Shichma Maila. Shichma Maila, where a person has to be, his head and shoulders has to be above the situation. Right? If your cup, you don't take your head and put it in hot water. Right? Anybody normal person, you don't take your head and put it in hot water. You take your feet and put it in hot water. Right? But we put our head in hot water. Right? There's a fire out there, we put our head there. What's next to the cup? What are you putting your head into hot water? That's not the way normal people do things. Normal people keep their head away from hot water. Right? Yeah, you want to test it out. Put your foot in it. It's too hot to walk away. No, but we get involved. Lick the cup. We put our head into the fire. And then we say, we got burned. Chutzpah. A nerve. We put our head into hot water and we got burned. Well, how do we get burned? Oh, you put your head in hot water, you're going to get burnt. So you got to keep your head away from that. And the Torah did that, to be able to keep your head away from it. Right? Your chokhmah always has to be lamaila. Right? Why do people get angry? Because their chokhmah, they take their chokhmah and they put it into the midah, into the emotion. What is the midah? What is your chokhmah being in emotion? The chokhmah needs to be above your emotion. How does your chokhmah get into the emotion? The chokhmah is supposed to elevate the emotion. The chokhmah is not supposed to go into the emotion. The emotion is the hot water. Why is your chokhmah in the hot water? Is in the hot place. Your chokhmah is supposed to be lamaila. Your wisdom is supposed to be above it. But we don't. We take our wisdom and we bring it into our midah. And that is the opposite. The Eibishter created that the chokhmah should elevate the midah, not that the midah should demote the chokhmah.
So the chokhmah should elevate the emotions.
Right. So that's it. So if it gets emotional, if you have chokhmah, you cool it down. If you put your head into the midah, you get hotter. So we take the head and we put it into the midah. And that's what happens. We create even a hotter situation. Instead of the opposite. The moyach. So that's if you're a melech, is moyach, lev, and kovid. If you're a lemech, you're lev, moyach, and kovid. You're lemech, you're a lemech. If you're not a melech, you have no control. So what do you show when a person gets angry? The Gemara says it's like a bit of zara. It shows basically you're not a melech. You have no control. You're pashit a lemech. You're pashit a loser. You're a loser. You can't control yourself. That's basically what you're showing. That you basically cannot control yourself. That's what you're showing. You're showing b'fnei kalam ve'eda. That you pashit can't control yourself. You lost your mayach. You fallen in the mayach. You lost your head. That's the expression. You lost your head. Because you did.
So is this a metaphor for Yonim Tachtonim?
Yeah. So you have a Yonim Tachtonim. There has to, that's the danger of Elyon and Tachtenim. So there has to be a Chibel, and the Eibush didn't want that Mayach and Lev should be opposite. But there gotta be the Mayach Sha'alt al Lev. So the Elyonim needs to come down to Tachtenim first. That's why V'yer Hashem. The Elyonim needs to come down to Tachtenim first. The Elyonim needs to impress Tachtenim, not the other way around.
Very difficult.
What?
Very difficult.
Anything that is important is difficult. If it's easy, then it would be given over to anybody to do. That it's difficult, it shows that it's important, and it needs to be done. And it's a chaval that it's not done.
If you love me, why you give me something difficult?
Because that's the opposite. Because I love you. When you love a child, you want to give him difficult things to do. You want to give him everything. Yeah, because you want to create it. You want to create him. You want to develop him. You're going to give him everything. Then he'll be he'll be nobody. You want to give him difficulties. You want to give him challenges. You want to develop a child. You want to just basically give a child everything, and then he grows up to be a nobody. You want to no. But difficulties, not difficulties. Difficulties is ava. I want the child to develop. Why should no child wants to go to school? Anybody wants to go to school? I want to stay home, play games. I have to go to school and get tested. Well, who wants difficulties? Nobody wants that. But if you don't educate a child, you don't give him a little difficulties in life, he's going to grow up to be a Sayyid B'nai. He's going to grow up to be an animal. Difficult, it's wrong, difficult. The word difficulty is not the right word. Challenges, difficult. Everything is difficult. Getting up in the morning is difficult. Getting out of bed is difficult. Making a living is difficult. What's not difficult?
So, Rabbi, then the emotions, according to this analogy, should be higher than the Chokhmah.
It is. In depthness is much higher. Yes, it is. Chassidus says the Gashmi is ultimately higher. If the Gashmi can elevate the Ruchni, then that shows that the Gashmi is higher. This world is higher, in a way. In the Shtalshlus, in the Seder Shtalshlus, in the way it goes into the center of the world, the Gashmi is lower. But in the way it's Lamaila, that's why the Gemara says that the Tana went Lamaila, he said that everything's topsy-turvy. What you think is important in this world is not important above. What you think is not important in this world is very important above. It's upside down. So why? And the way we look at this world, what's above is important, but below is not important. But that's not true. The truth is what's below is more important than what's above.
No wonder we're so confused.
No, therefore you have the Torah. You don't have to be confused. Therefore the Torah tells you, stop. The Tachten is the most important. I'm telling you right now. That the Tachten is the most important thing. The Eibush says, I'm going to be the first one. I'm going to come down. So I'm going to show you how the importance of this Olam is. That I'm going to come down first. So I'm not going to keep it a secret. Like, the secret? There's no secrets. But even though it's Dava Pasha, you can learn about it. The Eibush made the Kli so strong. The Eibush God made the Adam, the Guf, so strong that it has a power. It's so powerful that it can mailam ala emes. It can cover the truth. It's so powerful, the Guf, and that shows in the power of the Guf, that a person can Yedei Sabeinu Machavan Limber. You can know the truth and say, I don't care anyway. That's the power of the Guf. And that shows you that the changing of the Guf is the most important thing. Because there's nothing else in the world that can be a Deus Rabbeinu Mechavan Liber in a human being.
But it's the goof of the Yitzhara.
It's the Guf. The Guf and the Yitzhara is the same thing. It's the Guf. The Guf is so powerful. The Gashmi is so powerful. Because the Gashmi is so important, the Gashmi is so powerful that it can overcome the Emes. You have the Emes in it. You learn the Emes. You can understand the Emes, al pi chokhmah. That's why when you tell a person, don't be angry. Right? The guy understands it, he understands it, it's terrible. 10 minutes later, he's angry again. We just explained it to you. And you agreed. You said it's right. You cannot control it. The midah is so strong. That's why the Alter Rebbe writes, the hardest thing in life is to train your midot. The hardest thing. You can change your machshava, you can change your actions, you can do things better, but to change one midas is not an easy thing to do. Zeh kol adam. To be able to, the Rambam gives you advice how to change a midah. It's not an easy thing to do. And the Rambam, Maimonides gives advice. He says you cannot change a midah totally. He says you have to fake it for a while. You have to go 180 degrees the other way. And you got to fake it, the Rambam says. You have to basically, it's like if you're talking like anger, you got to have nothing to make you angry. You got to go for a certain period of time 180 degrees. You got to force upon yourself this. The Rambam says, I'm going to tell you a practical way. Force yourself that nothing affects you. And you can do that, because you can't do it forever, and then come slowly back to the middle. So you got to fake it for a while, so to say. The Rambam says, go 180 degrees the other way. Anything happens, say, forget it. I'm not going to, and then you can practice this. Practice going 180 degrees the other way. Practice.
It's most difficult when you're young.
When
you're younger, it's much more difficult. When you get older, somehow, things roll off your back a little bit easier. When you're younger, you just don't even think about it, you get angry. True?
Yeah, true. Yeah, okay. Baruch Hashem, because you get more mature. You're more mature. You get older, hopefully. You get more mature, and you realize what do you gain out of it? Garnished. You gain nothing out of the anger. You just gain nothing. So it's a chaval. We can, and the truth is, and if we can rectify our goof, that's the whole concept to elevate our goof, we'll be able to be unbelievable Yidden. We'll be able to be unbelievable Jews, to elevate the world. If we can become a better refined individual. We shall continue.